It's a kind of rallying call, isn't it? But he talks about those 3 words there: enjoyment, courage and conviction. Do you feel they're lacking any of those at the moment at all?
Conviction, maybe.
Okay.
I would say. And look, it's difficult, of course it is, to be leading the Premier League and have the pressure of teams chasing you. And it just seems like, because it's Arsenal, if this was Manchester City or Liverpool who have done it before, then if it was a game that they'd lost, it wouldn't be made. It's almost like, even if it's just a performance that's not great, even if they win the game but the performance doesn't look like they're going to be champions, well, everybody's jumping on top of it. And I think that's what he's trying to say in terms of just bringing the temperature down a bit, in terms of there's all this noise constantly about us, but actually let's just sit and look where we are. You know, we're 4 points clear in the title race. We're top of the Champions League, which isn't really being talked about because as a good achievement, because it's, well, until you get to the knockout stages and play, all the top sides will decide then if you've done any good in the Champions League. But it's been magnificent in that competition. Semi-final of the Carabao Cup and through in the FA Cup. So I think he's just trying to say, and even hopefully showing the players that they can recognise, actually, we are, what a great position we're in, and actually we've done very well. And the defeats we've had, it's not like we've disgraced ourselves in those defeats. I think they were pretty unlucky at catching Manchester United at the time that they did.
Yeah, perfectly reasonable and rational thing to do, isn't it? To take a look at the bigger picture. Obviously, a lot of noise since that game at the Emirates against Manchester United. But another word that he used there was courage as well. And there's been a lot of chat since the result on Sunday around Mikel Arteta's attitude and his side's attitude to risk and risk aversion. Have they got the players to be courageous on the ball, to play that final pass? We showed Arsenal's pass map yesterday on the Premier League show from the time in the game that they were behind against Manchester United and their passes in the final third. There was a lot of circulation and no one wanting to penetrate the Manchester United penalty area. They had a lot of the ball, but they didn't seem to have that player that really wanted to make a crucial action to make the cross, or certainly find a player in the penalty box for that finishing touch. So maybe he wants his players to be more courageous on the ball as well.
Yeah, you talk about being courageous. Do you think there is, within this squad, a lack of kind of like the mental strength that's required that we see sometimes in perhaps other teams? Do you think they're lacking that?
I'm not so sure. I think that, they've got players in their squad that have won competitions for other clubs. So it's not as if they've got nobody that have been able to get over the line in competitions and understand what it takes to win. Even as a coach, Mikel Arteta has been through that process, so he understands this stage of the season and how it's going to... Probably the hardest thing from a player's perspective is trying to block out and read and listen to all the opinions about you struggling and that you're starting to feel the pressure and not letting that affect you, I suppose, as a player. And then maybe, I would say, even the Arsenal supporters are getting frustrated when they feel like they want to win games, or it doesn't look like they're going to score against Manchester United towards the end of the game. I think that frustration, you as a player have got to find it within yourself to try and block that out and still concentrate on what your job is, and have the freedom still to play the way you would do if it was a game of less importance.
Yeah, I mean, Arteta was also asked about the anxiety inside the Emirates Stadium on Sunday, and whether that might stem from finishing runners-up in the past 3 seasons. Let's have a listen to what he had to say.
It's a possibility, but we cannot control that. And what happened in the past has to be very powerful to learn for the future, and that's the only way you can take it. And in life there are many examples about that, and you have to keep trying and giving your very best to try to achieve what you want, and if not, or the very best that you are able to achieve, because maybe somebody else is better, and you have to accept this is a sport as well, and that's it. But we all channel the energy and live the moment, and the next 4 months in that manner is going to be much more enjoyable, beautiful, and the outcome will be very, very good.
Something that you were sort of alluding to, the fans in the stadium with the anxiety as well, that perhaps was rubbing off on the players on the pitch. I mean, I can brighten them up, because actually the last time they were second 3 times in a row, the 4th time they went on to win it. It was Arsene Wenger's 2nd year in charge. So they should be moving in the right direction. But can you feel it? Is it palpable when you're in a stadium and you're on the pitch and the fans, the anxiety, that kind of like the silence that creeps through a stadium, is that really palpable?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
It's interesting when things are going well, how you almost can't really hear things in the stadium and it's just a bit of a blur and a bit of a buzz. But when things are tense, you notice those things. And I really noticed a few times against Manchester United when they're chasing the game and a pass was made, or I think Noni Madueke came on, went to dribble and go past his man and just overran it and it goes out and you hear the groans. Yeah. Well, that is going to, you have to be so strong for that not to affect you the next time you go to do it, or the next time you want to make that difficult pass that might go out of play. It's like if you now missed a word and there was 3,000 people that groaned when you missed a word. That's what it's. You really sense it and you hear it and feel it. So it's that maybe that Mikel Arteta said there. Well, it could be because. We will see as the season goes on whether those things really do affect them, and it can affect you being free to really show your best. I think that's the one way pressure gets to players.
And I think there have been certain triggers for it in the last few weeks. Arsenal haven't played really well, particularly probably since maybe the game against Villa over the Christmas period. They have had individual errors as well, which have led to opponents' shot on goal. So in the first 15 games, I think it was, they had 7 individual errors that led to an opponent's shot on goal, and they've already surpassed that just in the last 7 Premier League games. So there has been a few individual errors creeping in, but the point that Dee makes more broadly, when you're kind of in the game, when someone misplaces a pass or the dribble goes out of play without being able to get a cross in, but that's when you hear the groans, isn't it? And I think from Arsenal's perspective, it feels impossible to me that it wouldn't affect the players on the pitch. So that's maybe why Mikel Arteta's also saying they have to be courageous, because they have to not listen to what's going on in the stadium at home, potentially.
And they have to support one another. Do you remember the time when I can't remember because my brain won't allow me to, but when they saved the goal, it was the defence more than the keeper last season, and they were just gripping hold of one another, and it was like this magical moment that everyone thought this is what's in these Arsenal players. They're playing from the front to the back to everywhere, and it's kind of like that's what they need to kind of grip hold of and say, actually, we are perfectly capable. Let's just calm down. We've got potentially the best defence in the Premier League right now. We need to rely on it. If they can do that, do you think that this is theirs to lose? Do you think Arsenal will go on and lift that trophy?
I still think they will. I think that throughout any season there's going to be moments where there's serious pressure and there feels like there's a blip. I think at the moment that feels a bit like that for Arsenal in the Premier League. I think they'll come through it. I think the defence is too good over a longer period for them not to be able to keep the other teams out. And I'm not sure Aston Villa and Manchester City this season are capable of putting a run together enough to sustain their challenge. So I do think Arsenal will come through.
Well, that will cheer up all the Arsenal fans that are watching.
Hi, Mikel. A first home defeat of the season on Sunday. Just wondering what the reaction has been like around the training ground and among the players since then.
The reaction has been excellent. We took a moment to bring the temperature down, to pause and to reflect and ask 2 questions. One is, how do we feel? And how do I feel myself? And then how we want to live the next 4 months. And it was so encouraging and beautiful, because what came out of that is very simple. We have earned the right to be in a great position in 4 competitions, and in the next 4 months we're going to live and play with enjoyment, with a lot of courage, and with the conviction that we're going to win it. And this is going to be the mindset and where we're going to put the energy. And I'm just hoping that everybody that is related to this club, especially our supporters, jump on that boat, because this is the way that we're going to live the next 4 months, because we deserve to live like this.
How did you do that reflection? Was that something you did on your own, or was it a presentation you gave to the players?
Together with the players. It was just a conversation. about that. First of all, because I told them, first of all, how good they are and how grateful we are to share every single day with them and with the position to realize where we are. And just let's make sure that we enjoy with a lot of conviction that is going to happen, because it's our moment and we really want it.
You mentioned there you want to bring the supporters with you and hope they join you on the journey. There were some anxious moments from the supporters in the ground on Sunday. What can you do about that, and does that reaction...
That's why I encourage them to jump in this boat, because it's going to be fun, because the excitement, that conviction, that energy, that will is the way you have to live when you want to achieve a dream, when you want to achieve something that you play for 10 months. Because out of that, a lot of incredible things are going to emerge, some of the things that we cannot even imagine. And for me, that's the only way to live it, because we're going to give absolutely everything. We're going to prepare in the best possible way. And the best chance to deliver what we want is putting all the energy and channeling the energy into that direction.
Thank you. And then just finally from me, team news for tomorrow. There was no William Saliba, Jurriën Timber and Mikel Merino out on the pitch training.
Yeah.
Are they, I know Merino is suspended, but are the other two available, and is there anyone else who's not available tomorrow?
No, those are out.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll go to Chris from Sky Sports.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
You mentioned bringing the temperature down. Was that because you're potentially feeling it from outside? And also in the
No,
stadium?
it was because of the hectic schedule. So we play 4 away games in 4 different competitions, and it was a moment to pause and see who we are, what are we doing, and I said, okay, 4 months, how we want to actually live that. And it's just beautiful what is ahead. So we're going to live with a lot of enjoyment. I'm very convinced, because this team and this player have given us every reason to believe that the outcome is going to be really good.
So was that always kind of planned after this game to have a meeting like that?
Yes, we do it every 3-4 weeks on international breaks. It's very important to understand the reality versus the perspective, and sometimes you have to look with the microscope, and then you have to put the telescope in, and you have to be able to see everything with clarity, because at the end is that energy that is very important that we need to use in the right way.
You talk about perspective. I guess there's been a lot of talk in the last couple of days since the Man United defeat around Arsenal's goals from open play, and also the forwards, some of their stats at the moment. You have scored the second most goals in the Premier League, but is it harder to do when you sort of don't have that outstanding goal scorer, someone who's producing kind of higher numbers than the rest of the team?
I don't know, but I saw a lot of incredible talks as well about the team and individuals when we won in Milan 3 days before. It's the beautiful thing about this game. Same players, same team.
In terms of your attacking players, though, obviously at the moment in the league, the numbers aren't quite as high potentially as some of the other players in the league. What do you put that down to, and does the team maybe need to kind of help more to get more out of your attacking players right now?
We want those numbers to be higher, but as well, I think we are 3 goals away from the best team, you know. So we are not that far, so the margins are still very small. Maybe they are contributing to another players as well to score a lot of goals or to do other stuff. So we want to be the best in every stat, but it's very important that we can read the stats in the manner that are useful for us and especially for our players.